Hey team, I figured I'd bring us up to speed in Relationship 101. And I'm always talking about relationships, right? But this time I'm gonna spend some time in the romantic relationship realm. How about that? How about that? I'm always talking about business and connections and networking. Let's spend some time in the romantic sphere, right? So this world that we live in, from the television shows that we watch, the books that we read, the movies that we view, it's always like these perfect, like utopian relationships, where people are getting edible arrangements on Valentine's Day and steak dinners on Sweetest Day and just like all this like stuff that doesn't really matter. Like I get it. There are some people who do not fit the standard for the relationship type that are going to use my video for evil. However, I feel like a lot of that Hallmark-ish holiday stuff and all the stuff that Hallmark sells and their competitors sell is just not worth it. If you're truly in a relationship with somebody that you care about, they care about you, and only you know this, they don't need all that stuff. You don't need all that stuff. Just spend some time together. Have a good conversation. Talk. Enjoy each other's company. And I mean, like, there are exceptions, Surprise somebody, buy something, make something, do something. But it doesn't have to be on the 14th of the month. It doesn't have to be on a special holiday of the month or of the year, whatever the case may be. Don't put pressure on each other, on other people, on yourself. Because if it's right, it's right, right? What else we got? So relationships. I just recently shared a story that I read one time, and I was I was captivated by the way I described it. And but that aside, I mean, the story is amazing. It's a man and a woman, husband and wife. They've been married for years. They're happy. The wife, she makes bread every day of the relationship. Every day of like their, for years. We're not going to say of the relationship, but for years. She makes bread. And she cuts this bread in half, homemade bread, and she gives the bottom part to her loving husband. And her loving husband is like, he's like, thank you. You've made this bread. I appreciate you. It's perfect romance, right? So he eats the bottom of the bread. She takes her top of the bread, sits down, eats that. And one day, they, have an argument, a disagreement, we'll say disagreement. And she tells the husband, her loving husband, that, she bends over backwards for him and she gives him the bottom of the bread every day because that's how much she cares about him. Because that is her favorite part of the bread. And he says, wow, that is very interesting. I appreciate you sharing what you believe is the best part of the bread with me. That's how much I mean to you. Wow, thank you. But I ate the bottom part of the bread all these years because my favorite part of the bread is the top part. And I let you have that because that's how much I care about you. And I just say, wow, because you look at how much these two individuals care about one another, that they will be willing to sacrifice their part of the bread for one another. But think about that for a moment. Think about the lack of communication involved with this romantic story. Had these two individuals spoken to one another and shared additional details with one another, they could have been just as happy, just as willingly to sacrifice, but with their favorite part of the bread. Come on. I mean, like, really? Like, let's make it a point to articulate our feelings, our desires, our concerns. Use your words. So often we want people to read our minds. We want people to like notice our body language. We want people to understand that we're being short or sarcastic. And for what? I would rather you love me for who I am than to hate me for who I am not. I'll leave you with that. Until next time.